Okay, I think we're all here. Thank you for joining the Team Eagle technology training, social media training call, whatever we're going to call this. We do a little bit of everything. E-marketing, digital marketing call. So thank you for being here tonight. It is, what's the month? See, I'm just so Magoo in the brain tonight. April, right? Is it the month of April still? This coronavirus is just, it's got me all discombobulated. I'm all out of sorts. Thank you, Rose. April 9th, 2020. What an interesting day and time we're living in, right? You guys agree with that? Who would have thought we'd be here dealing with the things that we're dealing with? But I hope you all are safe. I hope you all are keeping well. Hope your families are well. I hope you're doing the right things to stay safe and just to stay stay cautious and take care of yourselves. So thank you for all of you that took the time to be here tonight on our training call. Now, as I was mentioning to you before we started the recording, Lionel on our training call, on our Tuesday night training call, was talking, and Joseph Kerr was on the call with us too. So please listen to the replay if you did not get to participate live on the call. It was a very, very important call, very, very good call. One of the things that Lionel mentioned was they are looking at the possibility of bringing the Summer Blast for 2020. It's, I think, July 18th, that weekend. They're looking at the possibility of maybe moving that conference online because we don't know where we're going to be in July. Hopefully all this is lifted and we can fly and drive and travel and meet all together in the same, room, or at least in a close proximity of each other by July. But just in case we're not in the full clear by July, they are considering and looking to the options of putting the Summer Blast online. And it is totally doable. I've already seen some conferences that were, big city conferences that they moved online, and they're continuing on with the program, right? Some things we just have to keep going. We make the adjustments and we keep going. And that's the same thing that I'm sensing that Ameriplan is doing. They're not going to cancel anything. They're going to keep this train rolling. So I thought it would be a good idea tonight to just start back with the basics of just video conferencing. I'm going to talk tonight about how you do online meetings, because I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We average about 5, 6, maybe 7 people on these training calls. Team Eagle is a huge team. We've got more than 7 or 8 people in this organization. Now, if we're going to do the video conference, if we're going to do it online, if we're going to do Summer Blast online, I want Team Eagle ready, sharp, on time, got their cameras, got their computers, know how to participate, know how to share their screens, know how to get their team members on. I want us to show up in a big way if we have to do this online. And there may come a time when instead of the teleconference call, Lionel may say once a month, once a quarter, we'll do a team meeting and we'll do a video conference call. We don't know, but I'm telling you, my background is in technology, and I teach this at a local college too. I know on the other side of this pandemic, things are going to be different, okay? I know for a fact, if you can't get your business online, if you don't know what you're doing online with these meeting people, meeting prospects, setting up something with clients, having a team meeting where, you can see each other on a video conference, that's the norm, okay? Trust me, that's going to be the norm. We learn, they got the kids doing it in school, K through 12 schools. They're going online to have classes now. So now the parents will have to learn how to do that. So what you learn in this class tonight, it's going to transfer to a lot of different, this is not just for Ameriplan. This is for survival. This is for keeping your business online, being able to, even reach out to your loved ones that you can't physically see, So what information that you get tonight is going to help you in a lot of areas. So I want to do the basics of video conferencing. Now, we don't know what video conferencing tool will be used for the summer blast, they're still in planning, you know. So I'm going to guess, well, I'm just going to say this. One of the main platforms that's really being used a lot right now, that it seems like it's the easiest for everyone in general to get on, is called Zoom. And that's the platform that we're on tonight. We're on the Zoom platform, okay? So with Zoom, I want to go over the basics. Those of you that made it here, you're great, you're good. And we're going to practice with, we may not have time tonight, but sometime in the future, maybe part 2 of this, we're going to practice sharing our screen, muting, unmuting, you know, and doing some basics as far as the Zoom app is concerned. There are other apps out there, video conferencing software. I've seen, if you watch CNN a lot, I see Cisco WebEx. You know, when they bring somebody onto the screen, watch and see what, if they use Skype. Skype is one of them that's owned by Microsoft. Cisco WebEx, that's a Cisco product. There's Google Hangouts Meet, that's by Google. So there are several video conferencing software, and there are many others too, but those are the main ones that that I'm familiar with. And if you know those and how to get in and out of those, maybe we'll come on and we'll do a different platform another time, just so you're comfortable with, you know, these various video platforms until we hear. Now, once we hear what Ameriplan is going to do, we're going to make sure that we know how to do that platform too. But if you kind of know one, you can kind of figure out the rest of them, okay? Now, having said that, and having laid that foundation, in the chat, in this Zoom window here at the bottom, I put a link in the chat. The link is, it's a bit.ly link. And one day we'll talk about bit.ly links, but it's like a URL, it's like a domain, but you don't have to buy it. Bit.ly links are free. It's like a tiny URL link, but with bit.ly you can customize it. So the bit.ly link is bit.ly/video conference PDF, okay? So what I did was put together almost like a cheat sheet for video conferences. So if you're going to prepare for a video conferences, I've got my best practices on this video conference PDF. Rose knows that I've been doing video conferences for 5 or 6 years now when I started with our little group that we had. So I've been doing this a while.
5 years.
5 years, okay. So I've been, every Saturday we had something going on, you know, with video conferences with women in the United States and Canada. So we've been doing this a bit. And then over time, I've collected just the best practices, the best things to do to make sure you have the best experience while you're on a video conference, okay? So if you're able to go into the chat, one of the things we're going to have to be able to do is to be on a video conference, and we may have to go off the screen and look at something in a browser as well, okay? So I'm going to copy this link, or you can just type it in bit.ly/video conference PDF, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to have my controls are at the bottom. I'm going to open the Chrome browser, okay? Now let me just say, so I'm going to share my screen. You can watch me. How about, let's just watch me first. I'm not going to ask you to, we'll work on changing screens and switching screens on another call. Tonight, I just want to go over the basics. So let me share my screen and show you the PDF. But when you get off the call, you'll take that PDF link, you'll put it in your browser, and you can download it and save it and print it or whatever you need to do, okay? So let me share my screen right now, and I'll show you what's on that, that PDF. Okay, let me change this. I don't want to do that. I don't want the desktop. I want to put my PDF in a different one. So give me 1 second to pull it out. I've got it pulled up here. I'm just going to put it in a different browser. Okay, now let me do it. Share my screen again. There it is. Okay. All right. Now, can everyone see my screen? Can you see my share? You see document that says how to prepare for your video conference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. Okay, so here are my tips to prepare for your video conference, okay? The first thing is the day before your video conference, okay? And you don't have to do it one day before, but sometime before your video, the day of your video conference, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do a system check, okay? Be sure your computer or laptop has a working camera and mic. When you get a link to join a video conference, most times they will give you the link beforehand or put it in a calendar invite. I would take a look at that link and see if it's GoToWebinar. All of those are webinars, but the video conference links are a little bit different. So you go and I just click it and just see what happens. If it says download a piece of software, or if it says download an app, or it'll tell you, it'll go through the things that it needs to do in order to pull up the window so that you'll see the window. Won't anybody be there because it's, you know, a couple of days before or a day before, but you want to go ahead and test that software ahead of time. So if there's any plugins, anything you need to run that software, and once you've done it that first time, you should be good. So once you download the plugin for Zoom the first time, maybe the next time you won't have to do so much because your computer already has what it needs. Okay, so the day before or a few days before, you want to do a system check. I always recommend that for the best experience that you use a laptop or a desktop computer, because you get the most functions when you use the laptop or desktop. Most of these are mobile ready. You can do Zoom on a tablet, an iPad or Galaxy tablet, and you can do Zoom on a smartphone. If you're out traveling and you don't have access to your computer, you can do it on a smartphone. But you remember, you're going to be looking at all these people on this little smartphone, but you can connect on a smartphone. You'll have to download the app for that video conferencing software, but you just follow the directions. You get it from the App Store, the iPhone store, or the Google Play Store, and download Zoom. You can do it on your phones. Even though we're doing this on the screen here, you can download Zoom on your phone and try it out one day and see how it works, okay? All right, and then we've already covered, do a link test. I'm recommending that you do most of your work, especially your video conferencing, through the Chrome browser. I know some of us have Windows desktops, and some of us have Macs, it's Windows or Mac. But with either of those, make sure you have Chrome installed and go through the Chrome browser, especially if you're going to do Zoom. I know Google Hangouts and Zoom, they work best on the Chrome browser, okay? Now, that'll also allow you the day before to give you a chance to test your mic, test your system, test your camera, make sure things look good, make sure you can see in the background behind you if you've got, you know, some things that you may want to change your position. I'm actually sitting in a corner of a room. The room is out that way, but I'm in a corner because I have the solid white background because it's less distracting. If you have a beautiful house and beautiful background and you want to, you know, that's not a problem either. But most of the professional videos I see, they just have someone with a, you know, just a plain background, so it's not distracting. But just know that whatever you see in that square, that's why you need to test it beforehand and make sure, you know, there's no distractions in the background or nothing that you don't want shown, you know, in the background that you see, okay? Now, the day of the meeting, before the meeting, say if your meeting's like 9 o'clock, I'm getting up at 7 o'clock and testing my, you know, getting my computer warmed up and all of that, at least a couple of hours before, okay? And I dress appropriately. Now remember, when we're video conferencing, a teleconference is one thing. A video conference, they're gonna see you, right? So, you know, especially us that are on this call, we're team leaders. So, you know, you don't want your team looking at you and you in a hoodie and you got some glasses on, dark shades, and, you know, first impressions are, you know, important. So you want to just, I'm not saying you have to wear your Sunday best or shirt and tie and all that stuff. I'm just saying, you know, this is a meeting. Treat it as if you were going in person. Okay. So if you're going to the corporate office, or if you're going to a team meeting or somewhere and meeting people, how would you dress if you were going to meet them face to face? So I kind of take that approach and say, okay, I'm going to dress that way. You know, even if it's just from the top up, that's okay. They can't see what's you got your jammy pants on and your flip flops. They can't see that, but at least the top half of you, you know, you want presentable. And that goes for, you know, if you're meeting professionally, you know, people are going to start doing job interviews and things like that on video conference. So just remember and keep in mind, you want to, you know, as best as you can, you know, dress appropriately as if you were meeting in person. And make sure you have proper lighting, because some people, sometimes my first videos, you know, I had a light, but the light was, because I did it in my dining room and I had a ceiling fan, it was right on top of my head. So I had light in the room, but my face was like in a shadow like this, right? So you couldn't see my eyes. So I said, okay, I got to get something where I've got the light coming this way, you know? So if you have time to make those adjustments, that's why you kind of do it the day before and test out all of that. So you're coming through nice and clear. You've got a good lighting, good setting, good background, and all of that. Okay. Minimize background noise and distractions. I have to take my kid and put him in the other room because he's on Fortnite online playing with his buddies and he gets really excited. So I need to make sure I'm in a quiet place because that's distracting. Sometimes there are dogs barking, and sometimes there are things like that. And sometimes you can't prevent it, so you just keep yourself on mute. But if you're presenting and leading the meeting, you want to try as best as you can, you know, to minimize background distractions. If you're participating, the good rule of thumb is keep your mic on mute until it's time to speak. Because sometimes we're fidgeting, we're dropping stuff and clinging dishes or whatever you hear in the background. It's good etiquette to keep yourself on mute. Mute yourself just like you would on a teleconference line. Mute yourself until it's time to talk and to speak, okay? All right, now we're moving on down this little list here. An hour before the meeting, restart your computer. So say, for example, I'm the type of person, I may keep my stuff up all night. I've been working all day the day before. I get up, I check my emails, blah, 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 da, da, da. I'm doing things, da, da, da. Okay, now it's 9 o'clock or maybe 8:45. It's time for me to get on a 9 o'clock meeting. What I do is I totally shut down everything. Even if you close your windows, if you don't do a hard power off, not a reboot or a reset, but just a power off, then you still have memory, temporary memory in your system it's taking up bandwidth. So if you do a total like power down, it cleans out and washes out that extra memory and it frees up bandwidth, okay? So when you do a restart, especially if you're going to be on a video conference with a lot of different people, your computer needs all the power it can get and all the bandwidth it can get. So you won't be freezing up and you won't be, you know, having a lot of technical problems. Just kind of wash it out and just kind of do a power down and restart it up again. And when you restart it, don't open anything but the Chrome browser and the link to Zoom, okay? If you're presenting, you need your charts open. But if you're not presenting, just open up Zoom and set your camera up, you know, and you can test it before anyone is there, 15 minutes before, no one's there, whatever, everything looks good, lighting looks good, you got everything kind of positioned, then turn your camera off until other people come on and it's time to start the meeting. You're showing up early, right? So that's a good thing to have and a good thing to do. But power down and restart everything, make sure you can connect everything. Have a pair of headsets available to prevent audio feedback. Now I'm speaking to you and I'm using my computer speakers and I think everything sounds clear, but sometimes I'll get my fan will start running because my computer will run hot and I get this buzzing, then I have to put on my headset so you can't hear that and you can only hear, you know, what's coming through my headsets. So you don't have to wear headsets, but sometimes it's necessary to kind of prevent feedback around you and, you know, the sound that reverberates sometimes. Okay. Now, 15 minutes before, log on to the video conference. I'm kind of overlapping some of this because I'm talking off the top of my head, but you've got them listed out here. Log on to the video conference. before the meeting start time. Before you join, if it gives you that option, check your lighting, your camera, and mute your mic before you come into the meeting. Sometimes it won't allow you to do that. You just have to join and then kind of mute everything. That's fine. But if it gives you the option, I know Google Meet will give you the option. It shows you yourself before you get in, and it says you want your camera on or off, you want your mic on or off, and you can choose that, and then you can go into the meeting. But everything doesn't do that. Then you join the meeting. Unmute yourself only when it's time for you to talk, and then mute again when you're done. So we've already talked about that. Okay. All right. Things to remember. Be present during the video conference. Try not to use your phone and check your email and do social media and some other things. Try not to be distracted. Be present in the meeting. Try. Sometimes it's hard, but try not to multitask, because remember, even though I'm speaking, I can see each of you here, so I can tell if you're engaged, if you're not, you may raise your hand or whatever, so want you to participate and be active in the meeting. If sometimes I have to do something, if my kid storms in the room and he needs some juice or he has a question or something, I'll just turn my camera off for a moment so I can deal with him, and then I come back to the meeting. That's perfectly okay to do too. So you can't always control distractions, but you don't want to be a distraction in the meeting, okay? All right. Participate. Get comfortable with asking questions and sharing your screen. When we get on here for part 2, I'm going to let you all kind of get on here and just share your screen. Just share something on your screen, just so you know how to do that. So if you're on and you need to present something, you know how to get on here and do that, and you're comfortable with the controls. Practice using the tools during the video conference. Now is not the time to be shy, especially if you're a leader. Ask questions, participate, show people that you know how to do this thing, and just as you would on a teleconference. Have fun and be excited about learning new ways to communicate during this digital age. This is our new norm, people. So get comfortable with being on video conferences. Get comfortable with, speaking up and asking questions and participating and being present, okay? You do that, then you're good as gold. You're already ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game just being here tonight and being able to do these calls on this video conference platform, okay? That's what I wanted to go over tonight. I think those are some key basics that everyone needs to know, regardless of what platform you're on. Those are best practices to help you show up and be sharp, be on point, and be your best, because they'll be talking about, who are those people? They really know how to do video conference. Oh yeah, Team Eagle, they showed up to the Summer Blast, right? They had their cameras on. They were all, they had it going on, and that's what we want to do, because Lionel, he's a top class guy, and we want to make sure that the team shows up in a top class manner. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Do you know how to get this document? I can send it in an email too, but I'm only going to send it to those that actually came to the call. I'll send that to you just so you'll have this as a reference, okay? Any questions for me right off the bat? Anything you can think of?
No, not right now.
Okay. Was that pretty self-explanatory?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So I think this is a good, just a starting foundational kind of getting comfortable with video conferencing. And then once you get, let me also mention, when sign up now for your Zoom account, I'm not sure if to get on this call, if you had to sign up for Zoom or not, or if it just lets you put in the meeting code. But go ahead and get your own personal Zoom account, because you can do this with your team. It gives you 40 minutes for free accounts. You don't have to pay. You just sign up. You get your link and you tell your team to meet you on Zoom. You can do team meetings. Why don't you practice now with your team, right? Doing your Zoom meetings so you're comfortable with it. So by the time Summer Blast comes, your team is comfortable, you're comfortable, and we're there and we're present and we're ready to roll, I would recommend that, because most of us on these calls, we're leaders, and go ahead and get your free Zoom account. You get 40 minutes per meeting for a free account. And then, tell your team members to meet you online for 30 minutes for a team call. You don't have to do it all the time, but just try it. Get some friends on the line, get some colleagues and say, hey, let's get on here and do some, I need to get on here with Sonetta. We need to get on Canva and we need to, put our heads together and get some graphics out for Team Eagle. I'm all for that. We should do that, and we can do it
Me
over
too.
Yeah, I think we should. I really do, because I could use the help, and two heads, sometimes we can get things done quicker, and get them posted and get it going. So I'm all for that. I'm all for that. When I learn new technology, I want to get into it. I want to learn it first. I want to be the first one in to say, hey, I know how to do this. I'm just that kind of girl. They push out something new, I'm going to be trying it out, and if it benefits other people in the team, I'm going to bring it to the team. So learn how to embrace this technology and learn not to be afraid of it, and just jump head, head first. Okay. You guys are awesome. You ladies are awesome. Is there anything else I can answer for you?
Oh, I see Lionel is not here, so I can't ask a question. What I wanted to ask.
Liza?
I see Lionel is not here, so I can't
Lionel,
ask the
yeah, that's
question.
right. Ask Brenda. She may know. Ask Brenda. Yeah.
Brenda.
Yeah,
Brenda, this is Rose. I have a lady that wanna join the company, but she is hearing impaired, and she's wondering if there's anybody in our company that are deaf. And I told her I don't know. I'm gonna ask. Do you know of anyone in the company that's have that problem?
No, you don't. You probably have to ask Atlanta. Is the one you probably got to ask, because I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I know there was a lady on the team. She was blind. She was an NSD. She was our team lead back in the day, but she was I think legally blind, and she was able to do a lot. But I don't know. I've never heard of anyone being hearing impaired.
No.
Yeah, we'll ask Lionel. Okay, we'll forward that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are we good, ladies? Does this give you something to kind of work with? So between now and next week, set up a Zoom meeting and bring your questions. We're going to do part 2. We're going to do some advanced features, and I'm going to show you a few things of how to share your screen and maybe some other things, to do in Zoom. Okay. Is this good? Is this good info?
Yeah.
I want it to be worth your time, but I don't want to keep you on here all night as well. Was that a question, or was that? Happy anniversary to Rose. Happy anniversary, Rose. Today's her anniversary, so we're going to let her go. Can't keep you on here all night. We ain't going to keep you on here all night. Have Richard looking at us cross-eyed. No. Tell him we said happy anniversary.
Okay, I will.
I know, right? Let your wife go. Let his wife go.
All right.
All righty. Okay, ladies, I appreciate you coming on. Try to get your team on here too. I'd really like to see the engagement on here, because I want us to practice as much as possible with this technology stuff. Okay. And let's see who we can get, how many people we can get on here and grow this team, so we're prepared for Summer Blast if we have to do it online. And if we don't have to do it online, we're still prepared either way it goes. Okay. I may talk Lionel into holding something for Team Eagle online, just to, just kind of keep our skills brushed up if we don't do Summer Blast online. All righty. Bless you.
Right.
Good night, and stay safe and stay well, and we'll see you next week. Let me know if you have any questions.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.